counted for constitutional rights, and I must say that if that had happened, I'd be the happiest. But I'm taking part in a different, I'm not taking part, I'm going to attend a different sort of legal procedure. My friend's getting married. Why he chose March 14th, the day before the big mobilization, anybody's guess. The reason we're out here is to talk tonight about the pro-torture veto of President Bush that happened just this last week. So far as I know, the Congress has not succeeded in overriding it. We have a country now in which the administration has again and again affirmed, with significant congressional support, and sad and tragically also Democratic support, that this is a country that tortures. This is a country that has turned back to medieval times, when they would tear fingernails out of your hands or use hot red hot spikes to blind you. Now they don't use torture methods that leave those kinds of marks. No, we're much more civilized in our tortures. Our tortures are the kind of tortures like waterboarding, which according to Mr. Bush apparently, he can't figure out that that is a form of torture, and neither, remarkably, can the Attorney General, Mukasey, be able to utter those words that waterboarding is torture, in spite of the fact that the United States itself as a country has prosecuted people for engaging in that kind of torture. But they're more civilized than those medieval folks with the rack and the Iron Maiden. These forms of torture, some of them at least, the ones that he's willing to say that we are going to provide for our intelligence services, these enhanced forms of interrogation, they don't leave a physical mark, but they leave a lasting psychological scar, a devastation to the spirit, a devastation to the mind. This is what our country has come to. We, and I think we don't speak just of this small group out here today, but I think a majority of Americans, or an overwhelming majority of Americans, are appalled by this, disgusted by it, and are committed to changing it. Tomorrow we gather to mark 5 years of this immoral criminal war in Iraq, this occupation and war in Iraq. And what Pprc is involved in, and Amnesty International, and the Tikkun Olam Committee of B'nai Or, is a constitutional rights action tent, and we hope you'll join us there. We'll have postcards to send to Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, demanding that they override this veto, that they work to succeed in passing legislation that makes it clear. And I should say, no Congress today or ever can make torture legal. I don't care what laws they pass or what laws they don't pass. They can't make slavery legal. They can't make murder legal. They cannot make torture legal. And I would say anybody who sided with the president, who leaves this country to visit foreign shores, I hope that those countries arrest them and take them to The Hague and prosecute them to the full extent of international law, for their part in making torture a part of this country's policies. I want to turn it over now to Dan, but I want to also mention that we have a candidate here, Mr. Walsh, who's going to be speaking in just a moment after Dan. Here's Dan Handelman.
Thanks Will, thanks everybody. I'm Dan Handelman. I'm with Peace and Justice Works Iraq Affinity Group and also Portland Cop Watch. So first of all, I want to say I hope that all of you will turn out, rain or shine, tomorrow for the big rally. We're going to be in an action tent that's called U.S. Out of the Middle East, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, ... And it's ... because the U.S. is all over the Middle East, and we got to get the United States out of there. We have a fact sheet about it. I got a couple of copies with me. If you want one, let me know. I also want to remind you that the Peace and Justice Works Iraq Affinity Group is holding a separate event on Wednesday, the actual anniversary of the invasion and occupation of Iraq, March 19. We're going to start at 11 o'clock in the morning at Terry Shrunk Plaza over there by the Federal Building. We're going to have some giant banners that say Iraq for Iraqis Now, U.S. Out, hanging at 3 locations, at Terry Shrunk, and then at noon we'll be at the World Trade Center where Senator Smith is housed, And at 1 o'clock, we'll be right up there at the old federal courthouse, right up on Broadway, where David Wu has his office. So I hope you can join us during the day for that. And if not, we'll be at Terry Shrunk again from 4 to 6 p.m. that night. I've got flyers about that if you want one. So, among other things, somebody asked me today from the press, well, what do you think should be done? And I said, I'd like to hear one candidate, if not every candidate, for every office say, I'm going to go over to Iraq, I'm going to go to the embassy, and I'm going to tear down the sign that says U.S. Embassy and say, this building is now for the Iraqi people. When I hear all the candidates say that, I will vote for them. So my last piece of news is about a related issue in many ways. The Portland Police, our local version of the military, who are supposed to be under the control of civilian authority, much like our U.S. military, have an oversight system known as the Independent Police Review Division. I've been talking about this for a few months now to y'all. And that IPR is under scrutiny. And the public hearing we've been wanting about the report that came out on the IPR is actually going before City Council on Wednesday at 10:45 a.m. We need as many people as possible to turn out to that. The problem is, it's exactly at the same time as our 11 a.m. Iraq event. So if people have more of an affinity for seeing police being held accountable in Portland, make sure to come down to City Hall 10:45 Wednesday and tell your friends about all of these events. We need as many people as possible to raise our voices, and we're going to make a change and make this country the best country it can be. Thank you.
Now, candidate Walsh.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, I'll be the first candidate to say not one dime for this war, and I would go to Iraq and pull down any base that belongs to the United States. We have to leave. It's got to be over. We have to have justice for the people in Iraq. They have told us to get out. We should leave. And the only way that you can do that is you can impeach the President of the United States. You can impeach the Vice President, and you can cut all funding, not special funding, all funding, and not pass any defense appropriation unless there is a ticket for every one of our troops and every American to get out of Iraq. I am running against Blumenauer. I'm in the 3rd district. My campaign is based on justice, justice for our troops, our veterans, justice for our students whose schools are going broke. It's raining. I'm going to do something that most politicians don't do. Compliment you for being here. And if I'm elected, I will be here as an elected official and stand here on Friday night.
Well, I guess with that, we're going to go make a little bit of noise. The American public has said that they won.
Get out of Iraq!
What is it that the Iraqis want?
Get out of Iraq!
And what does the world want?
Get out of Iraq!
Hell out of Iraq!
Okay, well, you want some flyers? We got here just in time. That doesn't matter to us. So why don't we just get started?
But with this spectacle, what's this Raytheon one?
That's great, thank
got him. I got him.
president has done, he's declared to the world that America is for torture when he vetoed the anti-torture bill. Imagine that, the president of the United States, who used to be the good guys. We say that torture is okay. George Bush is so out of touch, he does not represent the American people.
He's a coward!
He does not represent me. I don't think he represents you. He is not my president. These are not my wars. Not my president. Not my wars. Not my president. Not my wars. Not my president.
Not my war!
Not my war.
Not my war! Not my war! Not my war!
Melvin?
Yeah.
Fuck the president! Melvin, right winger would like you to make Bill. There's only liberals on the West Coast. There's a lot of liberals on the East Coast.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many people in that ignorant think liberals are only, on the West Coast.
Well, I just think they like to confuse everybody.
What's that?
I think they like to confuse everybody.
Well, Melvin, I've been to the East Coast a few times, as far north as Washington, D.C., and Miami, Florida. And I know there's liberals on the East
Oh,
Coast.
lots of them. Lots of them.
The West Coast is not a liberal phenomenon.
Thank y'all for showing up again. You really are the hardiest of individuals to show up at this kind of march now. The only announcement I have really want to be making all night, that's tomorrow, 2 p.m., South Park blocks, show up. And also on Wednesday, the true anniversary of the war at Terry Schruck Plaza from 11 till
11 to 12,
yeah.
and then again from 4 to 6.
And again from 4 to 6 at Terry Schruck Plaza. So y'all take care of yourselves.